Hello, everyone. Let's see if anyone shows up. Everyone's so busy. Hi, Reef Therapy. Can you hear me? Let's jump to hello to the UK. I'm jumping to my favorite screen here. Give me a second. Live stream. I guess we'll move this guy. Loud and clear. Oh, so glad to hear that. I have been gone for a little while. Hey, I even got a thumbs up. Thank you for thumbs upping this video, even though I've said nothing exceptionally interesting yet. I would like to, okay, well, let's get right into everything. As you know, I went to Fiji. I was gone for 8 days. About halfway into the trip, I got really bad food poisoning that stayed with me for 8 days. So last Saturday, I felt horrible, and I stayed in bed all weekend, and I didn't even bother bothering you guys, telling you there's no live stream. I figured that you would figure it out. But ignoring the food poisoning, the place was beautiful. It was too hot for me. I hate heat. I'm in Fiji, and I'm complaining about the heat. But yes, I was hot the whole time. I wore a button-down, like Hawaiian shirt pretty much every day. And I always left it unbuttoned, and everyone gave me a hard time. They're all wearing t-shirts, and they're sweating, and I was just trying to do anything I could to cool off. I prefer cooler weather. I'm half Swiss. I would also like to mention that one day, the weather was nice. The clouds had rolled in, it was raining, it felt cool, I was comfortable, and everyone there was freezing. And I grabbed one girl from our group and said, "Come here, I'll make you warm." And she was shivering. And she says, "Oh my God, you're an oven." I was like, "Yes, I've been telling you all along, I'm too hot." I've always been that way my whole life. All right. I already had a question asked. Brian asks, what's the hardest part about changing a freshwater into a saltwater? Can I use the same canister filters? Brian, I'm going to tell you, Google is your friend. But bottom line is, everything you know about freshwater, I've been told this repeatedly, does not pertain to saltwater. So other than the aquarium being a glass box, and that's the parts that are equal, everything that happens within the tank is completely different. Could you use the canister filters? Depends on what kind of medications you've used in the past on the freshwater system. For example, if you treated that tank with copper, there's a possibility that copper is in the plastic, which would not be good for invertebrates in your saltwater system. But that's a whole other topic, and really I'm not a freshwater guy. So I would say do lots of research. Yes, back to food poisoning. Haha. So it was bad. I'm going to tell you a funny, very quick statement, and you can process it any way you want. But my friend Ashley, who I always dive with, she coined the phrase, "Do not trust a fart." That's all I'm going to say. And I had to keep reminding myself that the entire trip. Before every dive, as soon as I woke up in bed, I mean, always do not trust a fart. When I got back into town, my doctor's office was closed. I finally went on Monday, just a few days ago, and they gave me Cipro, and literally within mere hours, I was cured instantaneously. I dropped 5 pounds from being so sick, which is great, just in time for the holidays, right? Shed a few pounds. And actually my best friend said, just keep being sick. Hit your goal. You've been trying to hit it forever, which was hilarious, but I couldn't endure it. I was drinking Pedialyte to keep my electrolytes up and doing everything I could. It was very unpleasant, and I'm glad it's behind me, literally. Let me throw a thing on the screen. I want to put this up there. So, today's topic is about being a member of a reef club. And I wanted to ask you, let's see, we have 52 people on here. I want 52 answers. Are you a member of a saltwater reef club right now? And a follow-up question would be, are you attending their functions? Are you actually going to those meetings that they put on monthly or every couple of months or quarterly? Depends on what club you're in what area. And I do know some of you say, oh, it's too far away or it's a long drive, and I get that. My club meetings are 45 to 50 minutes away. and it happens on a Wednesday night, which means I have to drive through traffic right after rush hour because our meeting's at 7. Basically, all the rush hours from 4:30 to 6. So if I hop on the road around 6:20, I can be at the meeting at 7 o'clock without too much hassle. And then we have the meeting for a couple of hours, and then I have to drive back for 45, 50 minutes. One of the things I love to do after the club meeting is with the people that stick around is we go to a local restaurant and we have dinner together. And that's a nice time to catch up with some friends, I'd say socially or, not so structured. We just grab burgers and beers and just enjoy our evening for a couple more hours. And then we head home and we get home before midnight. But I want to know if you guys are members of clubs. So I'm going to look at your comments. Feel free to tell me what's going on. Some people say there's none near me. So let me ask you this. Have you Googled local reef club near me and see what comes up? Because there are a lot of clubs, both nationally and, of course, internationally. You can, if you're in the United States, I would say go to masna.org and look up the list of clubs they have there to give you a start. But, I mean, Google's going to find you a club in your town. Way back in 2001, I had a roommate here for a few years, and he said, dude, there's a club right here in the area. You should check them out. And I looked at the website, and eventually in 2002, I joined the club, and I've been a member for 15 years. I highly recommend being a club member, and I super recommend going to the functions. And this is not a guilt trip, but you might take it that way. And that's okay. I can live with that. I can totally live with a guilt trip. The bottom line is that if a club puts on an event and very few people show up, the people organizing the events gets really discouraged. If the club flies in a speaker and that person prepares a presentation, comes into town, the club has to pay for their meal, pay for their flight, pay for their parking, pay for the presentation itself, and you don't show up for it, number one, it's kind of discouraging to the speaker. They might say, it's okay, I don't mind, but I'm sure they'd much rather see a crowded room of enthusiastic hobbyists than to see a small handful. So I would definitely recommend going whenever someone is flown in because it's an expense to your club, and it's basically the right thing to do. Why would you join a club if you're not going to participate? If you were in a bowling league and you didn't go bowling, people say, why are you in this league? And they throw you out. Now, clubs don't do that. They don't throw people out. We have a huge club. We have over 600 paid members in DFW Mass, which is Dallas-Fort Worth Marine Aquarium Society. But we don't have 600 people coming to the meetings. So if you're a local person in my area and you're watching this video, this is your little prod from me, Lev, that you should be going to the club meetings. Just like I do. I go to every one of them. I've been going to pretty much every club event for 15 years, unless I was traveling, was out of town. Or one time I had surgery and couldn't get out of bed for a couple of weeks, so I had to miss one. But for the most part, I try to make them all. And some of the club events that we do here, I've shared on the YouTube channel. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to kind of go through these comments really quick. Mandelstam, it's time to look if there are any close nearby. Brad Seifert says he only goes to the meetings when I show up in Utah. That means you only go every couple of years. That's bad, Brad. Go to your meetings. Cheryl says she doesn't know. Time to Google. And Rocky Mountain Reefer says there's a local Facebook group, but there's no meetings and it's just a couple of members. See, and that's the thing. And it's not a pet peeve. It's just an annoyance. I feel like everyone's living on Facebook, but they're not really interacting. They have friends, but they're not friends. When you have a problem with your tank, you can post on Facebook, help me with my tank, and you'll get some answers. But if you're in a local club forum or you're with your local members and you say I have a problem, you might get a local person to come right over and help you with your tank. And when I did my reef reset, I posted to the club and said, hey, if you're part of this club, come on over that Saturday and you're going to leave with frags. And I had about 30 people show up that day, which was great. It was a lot of fun, and everyone got to interact, which was, I'm sure they enjoyed it. It made me happy. It kind of made things easier, too, and it allowed me to educate others, kind of in a demonstration way. And that's the thing I want to mention about club meetings, because the club meetings that they have could be, here are new products that come to market. They might even show it. I remember many, many years ago, the club president for DFW Mass brought in this light fixture from Germany. I believe it's Giesman or Geisman, and it was a very expensive light way back then. And he showed it to us. He showed us the metal halide bulbs in there, and he showed us how the T5s fit in, and he showed us the whole fixture. We could hold it and touch it and flip it over, and we were actually interacting with the product in person at this club meeting. And it kind of gave you, you know, an unbiased opinion about a light fixture, because it wasn't a salesman. It was the club president just telling you about something he was going to put over a client's tank, and it had just come into town. We've had product vendors come speak to our club in the past and tell us about their lighting or about their additives, chemicals, salts, different things like that. We had one fantastic speaker many years ago that talked about starfish. And she was from the Houston area, I believe, and she traveled here. You know, she drove up, and she gave this presentation, and I learned more about starfish in that one evening than I learned in my entire life. And this woman knew everything there was to know about starfish and made it her thesis for her PhD. And unfortunately, she never got her PhD because no one knew more than she did about starfish to read and approve this thesis to give her the PhD. She knew more than everyone. No one out there was there to grade it, so to speak, and she was kind of screwed. You know, she couldn't actually get the paperwork to prove she knew all this stuff. And it was really, really cool. And she had a lot of video back then, which was even more fun back then, because back then, you know, you had PowerPoints with, you know, a picture and a picture and a picture, and she was showing us video. I'm talking like 2004, 2005, and that just wasn't the common thing to do at a club meeting. Visiting speakers are a lot of fun to hang out with before the meeting and after the meeting. And of course, when they do their presentation at the end, there's a Q&A, and that's your chance to raise your hand and ask questions. And that's one of the reasons I recommend so much going to these club meetings. All right, let me read some more of your comments. I know there is a club in Detroit, so Dorian, you need to look again. Okay, that's a good point. One person said, I don't do well in crowds. How big is that crowd that you don't do well in? Are you talking about 10 people, 30 people, 100 people? Because usually they're informal. Some club meetings are being held in homes. Others are being held in fish stores. Others are being held in a community meeting room. These are all different venues we've used over the years. Sometimes you can get a room in a church, or there might be a small room in a very small section of a convention center. So these are areas where club meetings may take place. Sometimes they're in museums, or I went to one club meeting that was in a zoo, and there was this really nice meeting room on the zoo property. And when we left, I got to see a lot of animals as I was leaving the park, so that was fun. Let's see. I'm not sure I can even say this name, so I'll just spell it. XM3THODX says, club meetings take the time away I want to spend with my tank. Sorry, club. Well, you're with your tank, 24/7 pretty much. So to spend one evening a month to hang out with club members, I don't think is a big stretch, and I feel it's important. Now, let me tell you some other things our club has done, and some of these things occurred naturally or organically, and sometimes I saw it happen in another club elsewhere in the U.S., like, oh, that's brilliant, we're going to totally do that. So, for example, many years ago, I heard about tank tours. I was like, what's a tank tour? And what had happened was a few of the club members would open their home on the same day, and we would travel from home to home and look at their reef tanks as a group, ask some questions, eat some cookies, drink some sodas, get in our cars, and drive to the next home. And we'd visit 5, 6, 7 tanks that day. It would be from 9 to 5, basically. And that was a lot of fun. So I would definitely recommend that you do that. If you can find people in your local area to check out their tanks, even if, let's say you don't have a club, but you have a few people in your area that have reef tanks, hang out with them. You guys could actually form the club. You could be the beginning of a new club. All right. Seattle definitely has a club. I was just speaking there not too long ago. There are 2 in that area. I'm trying to think what they're called. Check masna.org. I'm going to put that here in the comments real quick. masna.org. And that way you guys can go there to find local clubs. But seriously, Google will find you any kind of reef club. Just Google Saltwater Club, Google Reef Club. As you know, the Reef Trace app has clubs included in the LFS locator now. So when you open, you know what? I'm going to do that right now. I created a little window just for you guys. Give me 1 second. Put this on the front. And we're going to jump to Get my screen loaded. Hopefully I won't get notifications during this because I don't really want it to. And we're going to go to my phone. And give it a second to load. It took a second before. Okay. So I'm in Reef Trace right now. And then you go to LFS Locator. And this shows a few of the stores. And then if you take the marker and drag it, oh, I'm sorry, hang on, let me make it a little easier. Drag it up. Come on, cooperate. Why won't it work for me? All right, let's do this. Wow, it always works except when I'm trying to show it to you on YouTube. I actually was testing this before I got online here. All right, let's do this. You little butt. You're probably sitting on an icon. That's probably what's happening. There we go. Okay. I think this would work great if I wasn't on YouTube, because it never moves my screen like this. Worst demo ever. Sorry about the masses. Drag this up here. Now, as I get closer to Denton, you'll see there's a pink icon. And that pink icon is the local club, Dallas-Fort Worth Marine Aquarium Society, because it's based out of Denton, which is interesting because it's Dallas-Fort Worth. But earlier, when I was testing this out and making sure it would work on the computer, I was dragging my marker all the way up to another area. I went to Canada or something. It really doesn't want to do it because I'm sharing my screen. I think it's messing with me here. So where am I now? I'm near Oklahoma City. So let's see if this thing loads. So there's some stores. Look, it's not listing the local club. And it could be because the local club at one point got disbanded. And then it became a Facebook page instead of being a formal website with a club. That's possible because Oklahoma City did have a club at one point, and so they have a pink marker. I actually jumped all the way up to Canada in Reef Trace to find that. And I still believe there's going to be abilities to use the search box to find things at the top here and locate what you're looking for. But I want to show you that right quick. All right, let me switch over here for a second. So I'm going to switch gears for a second. We'll come back to this topic. I wanted to remind you guys that there is a contest going on right now. Last night, I told you about, I uploaded a video that a few of you have already watched. And I started a contest on facebook.com/melovesreef, and you like the page and you share and you tag 3 people and you share it on your wall, and you could win a $25 gift card from Me Loves Reef. I'm giving one away every single day through Christmas. So I've already given away 2, and there's another one being given out this evening. And that's going to happen every single evening all the way to the 24th. And so that's all you have to do to participate. And I would hope that you would want to, and that way you could enjoy the actual event. Let's see, I can see I'm looking at the wrong camera the whole time. All right, maybe it was just delayed because YouTube's 20 seconds behind what I can see on my screen. It's so funny how it does that. All right. Shameless plug for that page. Totally, you should totally follow that page, by the way, because I share a lot of really cool things. Okay, there's a good comment. Someone says the Orlando Club doesn't do anything. I am going to debate that. I'm going to say they do some things. They might not do enough things. They might not do the things you want to see. Maybe you've already done all the things, and so now you are looking for something fresh in your life that's different. And I understand that feeling. I'm trying to find my screen that I like. Okay. So check and see. For example, they may have a workshop. It could be a workshop on how to frag corals. And they literally will cut the corals in front of you at the club meeting and you could watch. That is something I feel is really important, and I think that everyone should attend. And I'll tell you, there's a lot that you can learn watching other people frag corals in front of you. You may have seen people do it in the fish store. You know, like you're hanging out with the owner and he's breaking up frags and gluing them on frag plugs. It's possible. But is it the right coral? Is it the one that you care about fragging? Or is it just, he had some SPS and he was just snapping twigs? Because, someone might say, well, I wanted to frag a lobophilia, or I want to frag a leather, or I want to frag a gorgonian. And these are all different types of corals that, if you've never done it, you're going to be pretty apprehensive. It could be something as simple as an LPS coral, like a hammer, or a frog spawn, or a torch. And you may be very nervous about cutting a coral for the first time. So going to a workshop and learning how to do it, or fragging zoanthids, very good topic, slightly dangerous. There is a slight risk you could get hurt. So you would definitely want to be involved in that workshop to learn the ins and outs of fragging coral safely. I know you can find a lot of information on YouTube, but even though we have social media and we have YouTube for educational tools, which I'm using myself, that's the point of this whole channel, we need to interact with people in person. And it's funny because I run a business from my home, and so a lot of people tend to think I'm this shut-in, that I never see humans. I mean, my own son, you need to get out more. I'm out every single day. And everywhere I go, I interact with people. I am not, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm not an introvert. I'm an extrovert. I talk to people. When I was a kid walking down the sidewalk and people were walking toward me, I'd look up and smile and say, hi. And they'd look at me like, hi back. They were surprised this kid said hello. I've always been nice to people around me because I want them to be nice to me. It's the golden rule. And so I definitely recommend interacting with human beings once a month. So go to those club meetings. Now, I told you about the tank tour. That was fun. Our club took it a level further a few years ago, and every year we've done it. And it's the bus tour, which is so much fun. The first year, I think we had so many people interested, if I'm not mixing this up, we had 2 buses. We had about 80 people go on the bus tour, which was insane. We had 2 chartered buses. We had 1 bus that was for the drinkers, and we had 1 bus that was for those that didn't want alcohol. And you can guess which bus was more popular. And then we drove from fish store to fish store to fish store all day long. And it was a lot of fun, but very hard on the store, because the store would, have the manager, there's some employees, and of course livestock, and then 80 people come in at once, and they're all looking at livestock, and they're all saying, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, and they're bagging things up as quickly as they can and trying to ring things up as fast as they can so we can get back on the bus, put our stuff in coolers in the belly of the bus, and then go to the next fish store. And that's actually our most popular event currently. And so we do it once a year. And between drives, of course, we were drinking, we were telling jokes, we were doing trivia questions. And one of the cool things that our club does that I think is brilliant is that when you go into the store and you buy some product, as you're getting on the bus, you show your receipt to the person in charge of the group. And then for every, I think it's $25 that you spend, you get 1 raffle ticket. And then all those tickets go into a bucket. And while we're driving to the next store, they would stir up the tickets and draw a ticket out. And the ticket was worth $50 to spend in the next store. And then you'd come out of that store with receipts, and you would show, how much you had spent, and you'd get a few more raffle tickets. And so, and what we were doing was we were rewarding people, and we were getting them to spend money in the next store automatically. And where did the $50 gift card come from for the next store? Well, the club bought it from that store. So even the club was supporting the store. And, the club was paying for the bus and, all the refreshments. And it's a really fun day. And if you haven't watched my LFS bus tour, check out that video. It's here on my YouTube channel. You'll really enjoy it. All right. I'm going to change topics for 1 second because it's on my mind, and I can't help it. I'm here next to my tree, and on it I have ornaments of all kinds, including Star Wars, because I'm a nerd. And I want to know how many of you saw Star Wars. And did you love it? Because I did. I thought it was awesome. And for some weird reason, there seems to be this campaign of hatred against Star Wars, which makes 0 sense to me. Because for how many years did we not have any Star Wars at all? Now we get one every single year. I see no reason to complain. Matter of fact, if you can make a better Star Wars movie than they're doing, you should be in production making a film for us right now to prove how great you are. But no, it was an excellent movie. No spoilers, because I never do that. I will tell you that I loved it. You saw old faces, you saw new faces, you saw a fresh story. This is not some weird reboot. This is not some weird do-over. This was a continuation of the saga, and I loved it. So, matter of fact, one of the characters in the movie is so adorable that I contacted my artist friend immediately. I mean, while I'm leaving the theater, and I told her I need that thing made to hang on my tree, and she's making it for me, and I'll probably get it next week. So that's cool. It's called a porg. I didn't spoil anything. It's just a little creature. So people have been talking about porgs for months, and I didn't know what they were. They're in the movie, so now that's something to look forward to. All right. Yeah, there you go. Reef Therapy. Make the next Star Wars movie. Show us how Han Solo didn't die. And that was a movie a year ago, so do not get mad at me if you didn't know that. All right, back to my topics. Told you about the gift card. Okay, I have another little tangent I want to go on. And we've got 42 people on here right now. So a couple of you dropped off. Maybe a couple new ones came in. People are busy. Everyone's getting ready for Christmas. They're all out shopping and so forth. They can't live on live streams. But it's curious to me that some people live on YouTube, and some people live on Instagram, and some people live on Facebook. But they're not the same people. And that fascinates me because I'm on all three. And, you know, I share to Instagram, and I share to YouTube, and I share to Facebook. And it's not the same shares. It's not like I take one picture and go bang, 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 okay, I did it. I literally share different things to each one. And the audiences I have don't make sense to me. I have a little following on Facebook. I have a smaller following on Instagram, which is typically where the followings are huge. I guess I'm just the wrong topic. And then, you know, YouTube does its thing, and it's been growing exponentially now for the past couple of years. But I would like to see, for example, we're at right now almost 33,000 subscribers on YouTube. Why are there not 33,000 people following my Mila's Reef page on Facebook? Why are there not 33,000 people following me on Instagram? I don't understand that. And what makes you decide I only want to stay in one area, or I don't want to like that page necessarily? I'm just curious where your thought process is, because I kind of grab the entire thing. I encompass it all. And I was just curious where you stand. I shared a little tiny clip of my Mandarin Christmas tree ornament on Instagram last night. And of course, if you watched the video here, you saw my little contest video, and I showed some of the ornaments I have. I have some saltwater ornaments on the tree. Like I've got a scuba Santa, and I've got one with a little underwater self-propelled gizmo, and he's riding the back of it, which is cute. I've been acquiring ornaments for the last few years, and my son helped me decorate the tree this year with the things I had. And we both agreed that this year I will not buy more ornaments until after Christmas when they're on sale. So next year my tree will look even dressier than it does this year. But I got to tell you, having this giant tree in my house makes me happy. It I think it's making the pH rise in my reef tank. I don't know if that's true, but for lately my numbers have been up nice and high. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. Cedric Silvino asks, Reef Trace is mod. I'm not sure what you mean. Reef Trace is an app that's on iOS. They are currently working on the Android version, and I believe it will come out in the first couple of weeks of January. So then all you Android people will be up to speed, and you will have the same things that we iPhone people have been playing with for the last month and a half. The app is $5.99, and it tracks your water parameters. It gives you an LFS locator. It ties to my Critter ID section, so you can look through the pictures and find things that match what's in your tank, and you can finally find out what those things are. There's actually a pest section, and it's really a useful section for especially those that are new to the hobby. Some, like the guy earlier that said, hey, I want to switch from freshwater to saltwater. Scrolling through Critter ID would be the best thing you could possibly do. It could even help you pick out what corals you want to buy. And I'm fleshing that area out of my website. I'm trying to make it more interesting. I'm adding videos to each item on Critter ID so you can see them moving in flow. I think it's more interesting than a static image. That is going to be a work in progress that will continue through 2018, obviously, because I have a lot of critters to share. But I'm looking forward to that. I want to mention, for those of you, like one person said, Facebook ruins people's lives. I disagree. I love Facebook, and I follow a lot of fascinating people on there. I have picked the right group of friends. And when I ask you to follow me on Facebook, I'm saying follow, facebook.com/MilosReef, which is this link right here. And when you are on that page, you are going to be hit with all the good things. I share the coolest little videos. Like today, I shared a video from National Geographic. It was about 30 seconds long, and it talks about the pom-pom crab and where does he get his anemones. Like if he loses one, where does he get? How does he get two again? And I thought that's really cool, and I shared it. And I'm constantly finding little neat things to share. It is a great, great, great page to follow. And I don't hammer you away, but I would love to think that you're following that page, so that way when I share something, it'll appear in your newsfeed, like, oh, that's neat. And I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. So that's why I'm trying to get you guys over on that spot as well. A couple people said, I don't know how to Instagram, or I don't Instagram. Fair enough. I didn't for a long time. And I'm kind of embracing it. But like there's an artist, and he draws these great caricatures of himself and his wife in the silly scenes that married people go through. And, he was doing these drawings, and it went viral. I mean, he had these, they were great, until people saw the picture of the actual couple, and then they saw the drawing, and they saw they matched, and boom, it blew up. He's got like 1 million followers on Instagram. Now, I realize I'm not a caricature, I'm not drawing things, it's not nearly as interesting, but he's a great one to follow, for example. And you could be following all things that relate to Star Wars if you're a Star Wars nerd, or you could follow, if you like all things that have to do with Comic-Con, you can follow that. These are all, there's so many topics. My son likes to follow all the skateboarders, and Instagram has lots of video clips you can watch. There's another person I know, they watch all the cooking things, where there's these little tiny videos that show you how to prepare meals. There's fitness people that my buddy likes to follow, and he follows a whole bunch of different people to stay on track and keep his mind focused. Instagram is really good for that kind of stuff, and it's pretty quick. And the weird thing about Instagram compared to Facebook, with Facebook you can share. With Instagram you can only like it. And you just kind of scroll through and you like it. And you can comment, of course, but you can't like share it to your own Instagram, basically. Apparently you need an extra app to be able to like repeat something and share it to someone else. But you can tag an Instagram buddy so they'll see it as well. So I kind of like it. I think it's neat. But yeah, they're all different. But the funny thing is that Instagram is owned by Facebook. So you'd think those two would communicate a lot better, and whatever I have on one would equal on the other. And like I said, everyone seems to be in their individual groups. Not really sure why. Okay, back to my topic one more time about fish clubs, because I do think it's an important topic, and I'm trying to convince all of you to join a club today. You may find that it costs you $15, $20, $25, $35 to join a club for the year. What will you get back in return? Well, I mentioned that there would be meetings that you can attend to learn things. And odds are, even if you don't pay, they'll let you come in. But you don't want to be that person that's the drain, where you show up and you drink their drinks, you eat their food, you take their prizes, and you're not participating. I mean, give them the $20, $30 a year. Who cares? You spend way more than that on a single frag, and then you kill it. And the club membership's good all year. And all those club members will help you with questions when you come up. They'll answer them. Or they might come over. Or they might sell you some used gear and save you money. That's a benefit of being part of a local club. And then, of course, clubs do full-day events. Our own club, when I became a member in 2002, they were doing MACNA, which is a huge event I talk about all the time. Well, they had something in the past called Next Wave, and the club president said, yeah, we don't do that anymore because the club is too apathetic. I thought, what does that mean? He says, they don't care. They aren't doing it. They don't come to it. And I said, well, that's crazy. We need to get this thing going again. And so I worked with him and the rest of the board of directors, and we made a Next Wave come to life. And we had Next Wave for many years in a row. And actually, Next Wave was very popular. It was all day long. We flew in 3 speakers. We had a few things for sale. Eventually we opened up to vendors. Originally, it was just speakers and raffle prizes. And it was fun. And then, like I said, we had a new club president, and he wanted to bring in more vendors, and so we had a couple of coral vendors. And then it grew into a lot of coral vendors and dry goods vendors. And the show ended up going into a hotel, and there was a huge banquet room, and it became a mini MACNA. It was a big deal. The problem was something happened, and people got apathetic again, and they didn't show up. So you had a hardcore group of hobbyists that says, I'm definitely going to go, which is nice. but you need a lot of people to help pay for an event that becomes that big. If the club takes a huge loss and loses thousands of dollars because you didn't show up, that's bad. And really all they're doing is saying, give us one day out of your entire year, come to this event, hang out with us, give us some money for raffle prizes. In other words, buy $50 worth of tickets or $100 worth of tickets and hope to win a skimmer, hope to win a Radion light, hope to win a Vortec pump, hope to win a huge box of salt or a bunch of additives. There's all kinds of prizes you can put tickets in to try and win goodies. And it's a great time to win backups of the gear you already own. So let's say you have 2 gyres on your tank, and in the raffle you see another gyre. You put in a ticket for the gyre, and now you can put that gyre on the shelf, and when one of yours breaks, you can take it off the shelf and keep your tank running. So yeah, and that money that you're using to buy raffle tickets helps keep the club running. And so we're kind of moving the money in a circle in a good way. And I've always recommended this, so I would recommend to you very much, be a part of the club and go to the events. Don't blow them off. Don't say, I'm tired, I don't want to. Just plan on it. There's so many things we do all year long we go to, and sometimes there are things you don't even want to go to and you do it anyway. Whether your spouse dragged you there or your family said you have to, go enjoy a few hours with somebody that loves the hobby as much as you do, because they're literally not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for you, the hobbyist. Okay, that's the end of my rant. I covered everything I want to talk about. I feel like clubs are awesome, and I really don't want to see them just disintegrate. I really don't think they will. I think they'll always exist, but I'd love to see participation grow rather than shrink. And I'm seeing this shrinkage in every area of life. I really feel social media has connected us but pulled us apart at the same time, because I think we can say, oh, I'll just FaceTime the person, or I'll just send them a message through Messenger, and I don't actually have to meet with a person, which is crazy, because we're a social group of human beings, and we need to interconnect and win prizes and see happy faces. And we just did our winter social. Oh, I got to show you guys what I got. Okay, I'm going to disconnect my microphone, and I'm going to have to reconnect. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Tell me if you can hear me. Somebody tell me if the mic works, or if I just broke it. I will double check here really quick. Mic. Built-in microphone. All right, can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, so the winter social that just happened, we do it every year, and we do what's called the White Elephant Exchange. And if you don't know what the White Elephant Exchange is, it's actually a lot of fun. Everyone that wants to participate brings a present worth $20 or less, and they wrap it. And then all the presents go on a table, or in this case, they went under a Christmas tree that was in the room where we met. And then every person gets a ticket with a number on it. And the person in charge of the white elephant pulls the ticket out of a bowl, counts, says number 15. Whoever is 15 is the first person. They get to go up and pick any present they want. They tear it open and they show what it is. And it could be bionic, 2-part solution, where you have alkaline and calcium. They hold it up where everyone can see it, and they go sit down. And then the next person is, they draw a number again, number 2, and number 2 comes up. They can either take something from under the tree, or they can steal the bionic from that person and keep it. And then if they stole it, the first person goes back to the tree and opens another present. And the way we play the game, an item can be stolen 2 times. So in past times, we've had stuff stolen. It was crazy. I can't remember it was probably something I donated, because I tend to donate acrylic things. And I feel like I had a top-down photo box that got stolen all around the room. They took it, and then the next person stole it from them. And the guy's like, oh, I got one, yes. And then the next guy's like, I want that. And he took it again. It was hilarious. Everyone was laughing so hard. So this year, there wasn't a lot of stealing. There's a little bit. And I was the last name drawn, or the last number. And I went up there, and I opened up this little package, and I tore it open. And inside was this awesome dory. And I was like, yes, no one steal this from me. I totally need this for YouTube. So I got lucky. It wasn't stolen. And there was something else in the... there was a squid hat with the tentacles hanging down. And someone else told me, Mark, go steal the squid hat. Well, it was a little girl that won it. And no one could steal the squid hat from this little girl. And he said, Mark, that would look great on you on YouTube, which I think I would have looked insane. But apparently, she actually saw this and fell in love with it, but fortunately, she didn't steal my Dory, so I'm happy about that. So Dory is on YouTube now. There's Hank, and Nemo's in the back room. I got to get him out here as well. But that was an awesome prize. I was really happy to get it. And I was really happy that no one stole it. So that was great. All right. Today is Saturday. I hope you are testing your water. I'm going to test mine. I need to update my app, and then I'm going to share it to Instagram. So if you're not an Instagram guy, Instagram.com, find Milo's Reef, and you will see my water parameters. And I always tell everyone, do hashtag water testing, hashtag post your results. You can do at Reef Trace, you can do at Milo's Reef. That'd be great, because that is what we're trying to do, and build some momentum. Oh, nice! D from Brooklyn says that he's got a marlin. So I've been acquiring more Finding Nemo stuff because Nemo's awesome. I need some Finding Nemo stuff for my tree, I think, too. I think that'd be good. Water testing, I mentioned the app. If you don't have Reef Trace yet, be sure you get it. It's continually getting better and better. More and more things are being added to it. I know at one point it's just going to stop. It'll just be, this is the app, you get what you get, and it'll be awesome. And of course, the Android version will get the exact same options too, which would be really sweet. And then I think there's going to be some other app coming out next year too. So that's something interesting that I'll hint about. We'll see where that goes. And I'm sure I'm leaving things out, but I do want to let you guys know that it really is a cool app. Oh, I did something neat with my phone. By the way, if you didn't know, I got the iPhone 10. Very happy with it. Matter of fact, I love it because I had the 7 Plus. And the 7 Plus is actually pretty large in my hand, and now I feel like I can just hold the phone with one hand again, like you should, and be able to operate with my thumb. And I've really enjoyed it. I did some of my filming on the iPhone 10 in Fiji, and I did more filming on my 6 Plus. So these two phones are what I did filming. And then Ashley, she did her underwater filming on an iPhone 6. And I've got all of her footage as well. So the Fiji video that's going to come out should be very enjoyable. I like her footage way better than mine. She's got more dives than I do. And I will go into explanations, because I got to narrate that video. But I'll explain more about that. But she had some really great footage. And then one day she was sick because of the food poisoning. And I stole her lights and used them with my camera and got better footage. So I was happy about that. And I'm definitely going to buy the same gear that she has so that my stuff will be better in the future, so I can kind of improve my skill set. It's quite a challenge filming things underwater and, well, like I said, I'll narrate. You'll get to hear all about it. So let's leave it at that. And let me answer your questions for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll wrap this up. So feel free right now, if you've got time, type in a couple of questions, and I will address a couple of them for you. And then I'm seeing some of you guys talking to each other in chat, and I love it because you're introducing each other to a club. That's awesome. Way to go, guys. I'm going to put a link to my club if you actually are in the area. I'll just stick it right here. wmass.org. If I could type. So that's something to look. That's been the club I've been a part of for a long time, and I really recommend it. Our club actually gets discounts from fish stores. Some, not all of them, but that's another reason to be a club member is because you get a discount from the stores. So that's a perk if you like saving money. So look for those perks. Find out why the club is good for you, and then join it and be a participant. If you are traveling for Christmas, I'm just going to throw this out there while I'm waiting for your questions. Be sure you watch my tank sitter video that I posted 2 weeks ago, because that is a really good topic to review and make sure you've covered all your bases. Nothing really horrible happened with my tank while I was gone, which is great. I did have a weird pipe decide to leak, and according to my tank sitter, it just, leaked onto the fish room floor. And my entire top-off container replenished my reef, which is insane. and shocking, which means it was a very slow drip, because it was constant and it didn't trigger the ATO to not stay running. So it must have been dripping out, topping off, dripping out, topping off, and the top off never triggered because he says he used all the water up. But that was actually a good thing in this case because the last time I tested my salinity, it was 1.028, and I wanted my tank to be more like 1.026. So adding 40 gallons of top-off water to a reef should probably drop it down. I will find out today what the salinity is. Livestock-wise, everything did very well during the trip except the captive bred yellow tang was found dead in my frag system last Sunday. I was sick, as you know, and I walked past the tank and there was the carcass. I posted a picture of that on Instagram, so if you don't follow me there, you missed it. It's actually a very interesting picture. People said, wow, that's a cool shot. And that's why I took it, because it looked interesting. It was not what you would expect when a fish dies. So it kind of reminded me of a fish getting ready for Halloween, if you can kind of imagine that in your head. Someone asked, is your club a member of NEC? What is NEC? We're a member of MASNA. MASNA is like the umbrella for all the clubs in the United States. So if you have a club and you're not a member of MASNA, your club should become a member because MASNA represents the clubs and is there to provide educational content and provide speakers. Matter of fact, I'm on the MASNA Speaks list, which means if you're a MASNA club member and you want to fly in Mark Levinson to speak to your club, they will pay like $250 or $300 toward the expenses incurred in bringing me in to speak to your club. So being a member of MASNA is great for your club. And then, of course, when I'm there, I expect there to be 197 people there. Or 7. Depends on how big the club is. All right. No one asked any questions, so I'm going to just wrap it up. Guys, there will be another stream next Saturday. And you might start thinking about your, what do you call it? Your New Year's resolutions. They're coming up. In like 15 days, you're going to have to start announcing all the things you're going to do better about your reef tank for 2018. So start thinking about what resolutions you're going to make. Maybe you might consider, if you're a member of a club forum now, doing some kind of a recap about how your tank is done during 2017 and share that with your fellow club members so they can see your tank. Post pictures. Share information, get out there and interact with your club members. That's all I'm going to say for like the 20th time in this one video. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. Let's check the calendar really quick. I think our stream is before Christmas happens, so I will be talking to you again. The calendar is being slow. Yeah, so be sure you enter the contest. If you didn't see it in the information yet, you're going to go to facebook.com/MeLovesReef, find the pinned post, participate. I draw a winner every single day all the way through Christmas, and you can win a $25 gift card. So I want you guys to interact, be involved, and enjoy your reef tanks, guys. Have a great weekend. I'm going to let you go now. Bye.